Hello students, until now we see about solution. First we see solution, after that suspension and after that colloids. In our daily life we are going to see that so many mixtures, okay, and from that mixtures, some mixtures are beneficial for us and some mixtures are not beneficial for us. So we require to separate it, okay, so there are some separating methods. So in this video today we are going to learn about some separation techniques.
Techniques of separation. So, separating the components of mixture, we have learned that most of the natural substances are not chemically pure. Different methods of separation are used to get individual components from a mixture. Separation makes it possible to study and use the individual components of a mixture. Heterogeneous mixtures can be separated into their respective constituents by simple physical methods like hand picking, sieving, filtration that we use in our day-to-day life. For sometimes special techniques have to be used for the separation of components of mixture. So we will try to know techniques of separation. This separation of mixtures is totally depend upon the nature of the constituent. There are various methods to separate these constituents like filtration, evaporation, sublimation, centrifugation, chromatography, distillation, fractional distillation, crystallization. These are the mixtures. Okay. So separation methods. We'll see separation with which method is going to be used for what kind of mixture. Okay, chromatography method is used for the compounds in a liquid, compounds in a solution with same property. If the solution having same properties, okay, compounds in a solution having same properties, then we will use chromatography. Okay, if solids or group of solids and liquids in a mixture, then we will use filtration. If magnetic substance is mixed with the non-magnetic substance, at that time we will use magnetic attraction method, magnetic separation. Okay, crystallization, dissolve solid in a solution, we can use for the purification also this crystallization. Liquids in a solution, simple distillation, by the simple distillation we can separate this constituent of the mixture. Okay, fractional distillation also same, there is change in between the boiling points. Okay, after that separating funnel, immiscible liquids are there, mixture of immiscible liquids are there, then we can use separating funnel method. Sublimation method is used for the sublime constituent. Okay, evaporation is used for the volatile and non-volatile mixture. So we will see first evaporation. We have activity in our textbook, page number 19, page number 19, activity 2.4, activity 2.4. So see it, in this activity it is given, we will see this first we will see this activity with the help of AV.
Evaporation. We already know that a mixture can be separated into its constituent components by various different techniques. Let us now discuss these techniques one by one and see how they can be employed for the separation of a mixture's components. Let us learn about evaporation in this module. This process can be employed for separating the components of a mixture where one component is volatile and the other is non-volatile. Let us see an example to understand this better. The colored component or the dye can be obtained from blue or black colored ink by the process of evaporation. This is because ink is a homogeneous mixture of dye in water, where water, the solvent, is a volatile component, and dye, The solute is a non-volatile component. But what actually is the procedure for separating the dye? Well, here it is. First, put a few drops of blue or black colored ink on a watch glass. Now, place this watch glass on the mouth of a beaker half filled with water. And then heat the water in the beaker. The steam thus formed will heat up the ink. The water present in the ink evaporates and ultimately a blue or black residue is left on the watch glass. This is the dye. This technique of evaporation finds application in separation of non-volatile components dissolved in volatile solvents. Therefore, common salt is also separated from the sea using this method. Evaporation.
So, I hope that you understood about evaporation. In this AV, they mentioned about the evaporation of seawater to produce salt also. So, I request to my all dear student, please read about Dandi Yatra. Okay, read about Dandi Yatra, which was led by the Mahatma Gandhi. We will learn about centrifugation. So, sometimes the solid particles in a liquid are very small and pass through a filter paper. For such particles, the filtration technique cannot be used for separation. Such mixtures are separated by centrifugation. The principle is that the denser particles are forced to the bottom and the lighter particles stay at the top when spun rapidly. Okay, so I request to all my dear students, please see this AV.
Topic: Centrifugation. How is the principle of centrifugation helpful in blood banks? Don't know the answer? No worries. We shall find the solution. Oh yeah! Yes! Do you know that jelly is a colloidal solution? A colloidal solution is a solution whose particles neither dissolve nor settle down. Another example of a colloidal solution is blood. Blood consists of various components like red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, plasma, etc., which neither dissolve nor settle down. Usually in blood banks, when a blood sample needs to be tested, its components have to be separated. So, how can we separate those components? What do you think? Can we use a filtration technique to separate various components of blood? No. Filtration is not useful because the size of the components of blood is so small that they can easily pass through the filter paper. Similar to this merry-go-round, a machine called centrifuge is used in blood banks to separate blood components. In the centrifuge machine, a test tube filled with a blood sample is rotated at a constant high speed. This process is called centrifugation. Centrifugation is based on centripetal acceleration. Due to centripetal acceleration, the heavier components, that is, the red blood cells, move outwards. The white blood cells and platelets, which are lighter than red blood cells, form the middle layer, and plasma, being the lightest, moves towards the center. In this way, components of blood get separated by the principle of centrifugation. Topic: centrifugation. How is the
So I hope that you understood about centrifugation. What kind of principle is used here? The principle is whenever we are going to rotating the solution with rapidly, at that time what happens? The lighter particle will remain as it is on the top of the centripetal, the test tube, okay, and the denser particle will goes down. In this way we can separate this mixture. There are some application of centrifugation used in diagnostic laboratories for blood and urine test. First application is it is used in diagnostics laboratories for blood and urine test. Second one is used in diarrheas and home to separate butter from milk. We are going to use at in our home churner. It is called churner, okay, for separation of butter from cream. Used in washing machine. Third application is used in washing machine to squeeze out water from wet cloths. I hope that you understood about centrifugation and evaporation method. Once we will try to understand about Tyndall effect with the help of AV. So please watch it.
topic: Tyndall Effect. Why does the sky appear blue? Don't know the answer? No worries. We shall find the solution. It is such a beautiful rainbow. Have you ever wondered how it is formed? A rainbow is formed when raindrops split sunlight into different colors. Sunlight, or white light, consists of many colors. However, only a few of them are visible to us. A band of these visible colors is called a visible spectrum. When we see a rainbow, our brain and eyes distinguish the visible spectrum into 7 main colors, namely red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Hey, did you notice that the size of the balls increased? Yes, you guessed right. The balls represent the different colors of a rainbow in increasing order of their wavelengths. Wavelength is the distance between consecutive crests or consecutive troughs in a wave. In a rainbow, as we move from violet to red, the wavelength of colors increases. Violet has the shortest wavelength, while red has the longest wavelength. Do you think that our eyes have a natural inclination towards blue as compared to violet? Yes, this is one of the reasons why our sky appears blue and not violet. To understand this, first, let us study about Tyndall Effect. Tyndall Effect is a phenomenon in which a beam of light scatters on striking the particles present in its path. This scattering of light is responsible for the blue color of the sky. We know that our atmosphere primarily consists of oxygen and nitrogen particles, along with dust, smoke, and other particles in comparatively smaller proportions. The size of these particles in the atmosphere is responsible for the color of scattered light. When the sunlight strikes particles of dust, smoke, etc., which are bigger than the wavelength of sunlight, all the colors of sunlight are equally scattered. As a result, the scattered light appears white. However, when the sunlight strikes particles of oxygen and nitrogen, which are smaller than the wavelength of sunlight, the colors of sunlight having shorter wavelengths, that is, blue and violet, are much more scattered than colors having longer wavelengths. But our eyes are much more sensitive to blue color as compared to violet. Hence, the sky appears blue to us. For more educational videos, please.
I hope that you enjoyed this all AVs, along with you understood about evaporation, separation method of evaporation, and after that centrifugation and Tyndall effect. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Stay home. Thank you.